Stretching! Hey guys, my name is Nick Douvris and today we're gonna do some stretching! Does anything feel better than that first stretch you guys have in the morning when you wake up and just yawn it all out? That feels amazing. The only thing better might be hitting a home run, but I don't play baseball. Anyways, let's digress. We're gonna start our stretching video today. We're gonna go through about four or five different sequences that are some of my favorite stretches to make sure that we're loose and flexible, especially through our hamstrings and our hips. Those are the most important parts to keep our body moving fluidly and to lower any kind of pain in your back or that you feel your aches throughout the day and to make your workouts more efficient. It helps me with my kicking, with my kickboxing, and with my workouts as well, just any kind of range of motion type movements to make them bigger, more efficient, and so many, what's the word for it? Awesome things about stretching. Okay, so let's start. Here I am with my trusty stopwatch to make sure that all of our sets are uniform in duration. And we're gonna be holding everything for about 5 to 10 seconds. I don't like to hold it too long. I wanna make sure that my muscles are well enough stretched, but I don't really want it to hurt too much. I wanna feel ready for my workout or for my day. If you're gonna power stretch and hold things for longer, you should probably make that your only workout of the day because that is more taxing than you would believe. So let's start our sequence here. Our legs are gonna be straight out to start, about a little bit of distance between your feet, maybe about hips width. Okay, so I'm gonna start just with a little bit of a twist. I'm gonna take my right hand, reach behind me. My left one I'll put on the outside of my knee, and I'm just gonna turn a little bit behind for a couple seconds, breathe into it. And relax, give it a little shake. Now I'm gonna take that same leg, the right leg, I'm gonna cross it over. I'm gonna take my left arm over and I'm gonna twist again the same way. Push a little harder the second time if you're ready for it. And back down to the middle. All right, let's go the other way. And as we do this, you're gonna notice that one way is gonna be a lot more flexible than the other. So it's important that we do each side individually so we can get a good feel for where we're lacking in flexibility and strength. Number 2, cross the knee over, elbow on the outside, and twist just a little bit further. And back to the middle. Good. All right, let's start our hamstrings now. So our first hamstring stretch, if you guys want to bend your knees, that's okay. If you're ready for this, keep them straight. If you want, so that's up to you for the first one. Anytime we're stretching our hamstrings, I want you to keep your toes pulled back because that's going to stretch our calves and our ankles as well as lengthening our hamstring to make the stretch feel a little bit harder. So we're going to breathe in to lengthen the body out big. And as we breathe out, I want you to reach as far as you can and try to bring your stomach down close to your legs as we do this. So keeping your butt back flat for now. Breathe into it a couple times. And up, we're gonna do one more reach before we switch our sequence. Reaching up big, breathe in. And reaching down, breathe out. Good, I want you to try to flatten your back as you're down here, look up. Breathe a couple times. One more big breath in. And relax and try to fold forwards. And give it a little shake. Okay, for our next stretch, we're gonna be on one knee and we're gonna be stretching our hip flexor and our butt and a little bit more with our hamstring too. So I'm gonna plant my right knee down on the ground. And for the first few, I want you to keep your toes untucked, so that means top of your foot is gonna be on the ground too. And for the first one, I just want you to push your hips forwards and take your arm and reach up and breathe in big. If you can, take that back arm and try to pull it back a little more to open up that hip flexor. And give it a little shake. Now between each one, I want to do a little hamstring stretch. So we're going to take our hips and we're going to push them back right to here. We're going to reach up again and we're going to reach forwards. Under that hamstring, a couple more breaths. Back up to kneeling. Okay, this time, I want you to step a little further. We're gonna plant our hands and we're gonna do circles with our hips. Push them forwards into it. Just a couple more circles one way and reverse back to the other way. And one more time with the hamstring, straighten up the leg, roll back onto the heel, and reach up, and folding forwards. 3, 2, 1, and down. Good, we got one more to do on this leg, one of my favorite ones for my butt. We're gonna flip our leg across. We're gonna straighten our back leg and reach forwards, push the hips back into this one. And the more parallel you're keeping your shin with your chest, the harder this is gonna feel. So push your hips back, and of course we're gonna breathe into it. So as you breathe in, your stomach is gonna, your chest is gonna expand. The stretch is gonna feel a little bit harder. As you breathe out, you should be able to push back a little further. And breathe out. When I stretch, I like to try to engage my core as much as possible to try to see how the muscles and the different relationships between my core, all around my body and my back, and the muscles I'm trying to stretch are going to move with each other. And one more breath in and out. Good. Give it a little shake, and let's move on to the other leg. Step it down. So for these stretches, we want to be in a bit of a long lunge with our knee on the floor. We really want to push the hips forwards to stretch the quad and the hip flexor here. So with our first one, we're going to breathe in, push our hips forwards and down, and pull our opposite hand back a little bit. Okay. And back to the hamstring, push the hips back to straighten your front leg. Breathe in, and try to hug around that foot there as far down as you can. As you breathe in, you'll notice the stretch will feel more intense. So take the opportunity when you breathe out to come a little further. Get back up to our one knee and step a little further for this one. Plant your hands, and we're going to rotate the hips around slowly. Move with your breath. Take big deep breaths as we move so you can get a couple rotations per breath, and reverse the other way. And back to our hamstring, push it back, reach up, and try to reach a little further than that first time. Remember, keeping the toes pulled back into each hamstring stretch to feel it through your calf and through your ankle. And our last one for this sequence, our pigeon. Plant your foot near the opposite hand. Drop the knee so the shin is on the floor, and then push your hips back until you're feeling it through the glutes. Breathe in, breathe out, push back a little more. Engage your abs on your out breath. One more big breath in. And push it back. Good. All right, next one. We're going to be back on our backs. So we'll start sitting down, give our legs a little shake. Any of that stiffness, let's work it out. And we're gonna be doing one leg at a time again, but we're gonna be doing most of this from lying down. Okay, so the first one that we're gonna be doing, we're just gonna lie down here, grab your knee, and give it a hug into your chest. Just give it back. Yeah. And give it a hug into your chest. You can keep it relaxed here. It's a habit of mine to always keep my foot flexed, but for this one, you can let it flop if you want. And reach it back out. Now the second time, we're gonna grab either the instep or the outside of the foot. Your call. We're gonna lie down back, and we're gonna push the foot straight down into our shoulder. You should feel this high in the hamstring, closer to your butt, and to the inside of your thigh as well. And for the next one, we're gonna sit back up before we lie back down. We're gonna take that same foot, We're gonna grab it and we're gonna try to straighten it out. For this, it's important that we keep our core engaged. And if you can, as you're holding it, try to pull it closer to your body. Breathing in, breathe out, squeeze your core, pull it a bit closer. One more breath in. Breathe out, pull it in nice and tight. And the next one we're gonna finish the sequence with on this side is gonna be a bit of a twist, so we're gonna lie back down. We're gonna keep the knee bent, we're gonna grab it with the opposite hand, and we're gonna pull it across our body. Now for this one, keep your other hand out, reaching across, and you're looking away from your twist. To get a little bit more, you can try to force your hip towards the floor as we're pulling that knee over. This is one of my favorite stretches to loosen up my back and my hips. I can fall asleep here if I have enough time. And sitting back up, give that leg a little shake. All right, left leg. So back down, stretch number one, keep it bent. Just give your knee a nice hug into your chest. I feel this one through my hip flexor and a bit in my quad. Try to push your foot down a little bit too to make it a bit more intense. Good, straighten it out. You're gonna keep a 90-degree bend in your knee, grab the instep of the foot and push the knee down into the floor. Push the foot down into the knee, down into the floor. So you want to keep the foot above the knee. And our hamstring is sitting up. Bend your knee, grab, and then for this, we just try to extend as far as you can. If you can't lock it out, that's okay. You'll feel the stretch regardless. And don't forget, the purpose is to stretch. So if we can't reach all the way out with the stretch, that's okay as long as we're feeling it in the right spot. And my favorite one to finish the sequence, lie back down, grab the knee, pull it across your body, reach the other hand out, and look away from the twist. Give it a little shake. Okay, our next sequence we're going to be doing standing up. I like to finish standing up because I can push my stretches just a little further that way using my body weight. And I'm working my balance as well at the same time during these stretches and a little bit of strengthening in my legs and my core as I'm doing it. So we're going to have our legs about double shoulder width apart. And we're going to want to start with them pointing straight. So if you guys can turn your feet in, it's going to make it harder on your hamstrings as well, but for this, let's keep it straight unless you're not feeling it quite as much as you guys would hope. So we're going to start with a bit of a twist with our reach as well. So we're going to reach up here, always reaching up first to stretch out the sides, lengthen out the body, and then we're going to take our left hand and we're going to grab the outside of our right shin and try to take your shoulder and pull it down into your knee, and then make it a little bit more, and you can always reach up behind you with the opposite arm. Give it a little shake. We're going to do one more on this side. We're going to roll onto the heel of our left foot. We're going to push our hips back and bend into our right knee as much as we can, keeping our heel on the floor. If you can, I want you to take your elbow to push your knee out and drop your butt down even lower. Any stretch where you're using gravity in your body's movement to make it more intense is always pretty convenient, and it always gives a little bit of an easier stretch than moving with your own body control. And back up, give it a little wiggle, and onto the other side. Reach up, breathe in, and breathe out. Take your right arm, grab the outside of that left shin, pull the opposite shoulder, right shoulder to the knee, and reach up behind and still. Up. Okay, roll onto the heel of the right foot. Bend your left knee, push your hips back. Try to keep your back as straight as you can here. With your elbow, push that knee open and sink your butt down even further. I like to finish all of my stretching sequences with a seated split. It's an important stretch for kicking, but what I like out of it is it's a good way to gauge how my muscles are getting more flexible. So gauging my flexibility with my split, see how easy it is to open my legs, and also how easy it is to keep my posture as strong as I can as I do this. So I'm gonna try not to hunch over as I stretch. I'm gonna do just a couple things out of here to stretch my chest a little bit too. So push open as big as we can without letting our body hunch. So you want to be able to keep your knees flat on the ground, ideally keeping your shoulders pulled back and your posture up straight. To start, I want you to take your hands behind you and breathe in big to open up your chest, looking up. And we're just going to reach forwards just a little bit, push your hands in front of you and walk them out. Try to reach your stomach and your chest down to the floor, or as close as you can. And relax, let your back just walk forwards to finish. And close those legs slowly, give them a little shake. So if you guys like that, if you found that useful and helpful for your own workouts or for just your day-to-days, don't forget to click the subscribe button at the bottom, give us a like because we like you, and we'll see you guys later. Okay, so these are some of my favorite sequences that I like to do before I do any kind of exercising, especially any kickboxing type workouts. So I hope they helped you a lot with your flexibility and with your power and your control when you guys do your own workouts too, and keep your back safe throughout the days as well.
Do you always have coffee when you stretch?
Of course I do. Coffee helps me to relax and it makes my muscles feel nice.
Does it?
No, not my muscles, but yeah.
My brain.
My brain and my soul. Coffee is essential. I'm staggered if you're going to be strong that way.